Good morning. Well, I'm out here today. I think it's going to rain. There's a drizzle going on, but I'm out here just seeing what's in the garden, the remains of the garden. We're winding things up. We're getting stuff ready to put up for the, the winter I want to say holiday, but it's not a holiday. The winter season. We've got the kids' pool here. I wiped it down. We're going to let the air out of that, and we're going to just start cleaning up things and getting it ready for the winter season. There are still some pretty things out here in the garden, but fall is upon us. You can see the leaves on everything. It's not technically fall yet. It'll be fall on September 22nd this year, but we are winding down this garden. I'll leave things like this up for the birds until they leave, the little hummingbirds. I'm out here seeing what kind of fruits and vegetables are left. That looks like a good tomato. I bought the chickens scraps out here today. They're enjoying their food, and I'm just seeing what I can get from the garden. I am not going to be sad to say goodbye to this garden this year. This has not been a real fruitful garden, even though I'm very thankful for what I have gotten out of it. You know, we've got quite, a few good tomato sandwiches and some good things to eat. I think I may go ahead and pull off a green one or two to fry. But it's coming to the end. It's a beautiful, cool day today. I am on the outside of the little garden, just pulling off what's peeked out here. Some more hummingbird food. Now we'll go inside the little garden here. We usually keep a few of these just to keep the seeds. I see there's some dried up here that we can take for seeds. We've had this little type of tomato, this little tomato, small tomato. We've had it for years because we just keep saving the little seeds that fall off. Some of them just come up on their own. Some of the little tomatoes here, they'll be back. They'll just come up on their own. This cucumber's grown in the fence. Oh, there we go. I think I pushed it through. There's some baby cucumbers still left. I don't know if we'll have time to make, if they'll have time to make anything or not. If you let them go too long, if you let them get too ripe here, then we have something that also wants to eat the tomatoes. So we have to pick them with a little blush on them if we want to be sure that we get them. Should have gotten a bigger basket or a bowl, because it looks like the harvest is bigger than I thought it would be. I didn't think there would be much left out here. My nasturtium did not do that great this year. But I'm still thankful for what I got. I'm going to go ahead and harvest those. They go in my medicinal apothecary. They're a great antibiotic. Let's see what is on this. In this garden, got a few little tiny green tomatoes. They'd be good for pickles, but there's not enough of them really. My little granddaughter's vine that came up on its own. She planted it last year and it self-seeded and came up on its own. Pretty. It's been pretty here on the gate into the little garden. And it's an end of the year garden. It is really drying up. Look at that pretty thing. Glad nothing got to it. We'll have that for supper tonight. That looks delicious. I have quite a bit of tomatoes and tomato sauce. Good things left from the garden last year, from tomatoes last year. And it's a good thing because I do not have much in this garden this year. I'm going to pull off a few of these green tomatoes. I love fried green tomatoes. Donald likes them, but I love them. I think I probably grew up eating more than he did of them. We didn't get the blight on these tomatoes until here at the end when the rain started coming, steadily. We had a whole lot of rain at once. Still a lot of blooms on these tomatoes. I don't know if we'll have time for them to make fruit or not. But we will, when we take up all of these tomatoes and get rid of them, the tomato plants, we'll put down more calcium in this area. The cucumbers are long gone. Their bearing fruit is over. We'll have to get out here and cut these down. Now here's some tomatoes that came up on their own where I took the zucchini down. Some marigolds are just now deciding that they want to bloom. The basil did exceptionally well in this area. I've already harvested here. I may have to come back to harvest in a few days. But this weekend, Donald and I will tear up this garden. It certainly was not the best garden we've ever had. Now, the year before last, we got over 300. We got around 300. I think it was 285 that we kept track of. Some things we didn't keep track of. Oh, we've got a garden spider. Let's look at him. But this year, this garden, you know, it started off, we got it in kind of late. I don't really see the spider. I just see his casing. Oh, there he is. He's unfolding. I don't think I can focus in on him. If I get too close, it doesn't focus, but he's right here. And there's a web here, so I'm not going to disturb that. I'm going to let him go ahead and eat as many pests as he can. I'm going to leave him alone. And I was talking about our garden. Harvesting much more in the prior years than what we've got here, than what we got this year. We got the garden in late. It started out really dry. It was so dry that I was just watering out here to keep things alive. I really wasn't giving it as much water as it needs. You know, we're in the city on a lot, so our water has chlorine and fluoride and other chemicals in it. I'm sure that was not good for the plants, but we gave it what we had. And then when it did decide to rain, we started having a lot of hurricanes and such, and it did decide to rain a lot. It all came at once. So there was just a lot of rain. And you know, when you have long, hot, dry days, then your plants are more likely to get diseased. We do have a rain barrel that's covered up right here. We do not have that hooked up. It's a water rain catchment container. We'll be hooking that up probably in the spring. And maybe we can use some of that water to water our gardens when things are so severely dry. But we have a plan, hopefully. I did not get to this corner garden. I really wanted to do things out here, but I was not able to get to them and get those things done. Here's the garden soil that I probably bought 2 years ago that I was going to plant this container that I've got here, this salvage piece, and I haven't gotten to that yet. It's been an unusually busy year, so I did not get this garden done the way that I wanted to. I wanted to relay the rocks so that they looked neater and better, but that did not happen. A compost pile here, the big compost pile where we bring all of our, kitchen waste. Once it's composted out of the little bins, we bring it out here and put it on the garden. It is still here. It is doing good. This pumpkin has grown all over the place. I think Donald mowed some of it down. I don't think it's going to have time to make a pumpkin. It's grew all up into the grapevine. And it's over here on the fence. But here it is. It's time for pumpkins. And there's no pumpkins on here. So I don't think we got it in early enough to get any of the pumpkins. But you can see it's starting to look like fall. It actually feels wonderful. It really does. It feels good out here this morning. The temperature's great. It feels like the beginning of fall. And I've been looking forward to that. I should have fixed something to drink, but usually my hands get dirty when I'm out here harvesting and feeding the animals, so I didn't bring my tea or anything out here. I'll have to go in and make a cup. I would just sit out here for a little while. This is Easygoing Friday. If you watch my channel, Fridays are not a day that we push unless we have to. We usually take it easy on Friday because we have a really busy weekend most of the time. We do catch-up work when Donald's here. You know, I can only do so much on my own. I don't have the muscle to get it all done. But me and Donald make a good team. We get a lot done when he's here. And there's a lot on the agenda to be done. We've got just a lot of cleanup, mainly fall cleanup, the overgrowth, go ahead and getting things ready to put everything to bed for the winter. And you know, falls, when we do that, we wind everything up and we get out here and we start what we call the fall cleanup, and that's of the backyard, the back little gardens, and the front gardens. And there'll be plenty of time to make plenty of plans to start next year. You know, hope. There's a lot of hope in a garden. You plant it and you hope you have a good year and get a lot out of it. I'm not complaining about what we got, even though it was kind of a slim pickings year. We didn't get a lot. I'm not complaining about that. I'm actually thankful for what we did get, and I try to do the most, you know, that I can out of what we do get. Homegrown is so good. It's so delicious. You can't get any fresher than just walking out in your backyard and picking it. So it's a wonderful, it's just wonderful to have a garden. Not every year is a bumper crop year, and this year was a slim pickings. We call it slim pickings. It's a slim picking year. There wasn't a lot out here, but we did the best we could with what we had. We did get to enjoy plenty of good fresh tomatoes and fresh cucumbers. Those are always a highlight. Did not get very much squash. I think we probably got about 6 medium-sized zucchini, which is enough to make relish with. You know, we love the zucchini and squash relish. I have a video on how to make squash relish on my channel. And so, you know, if you're interested in that and you have an abundance of squash, that's a really good recipe to use up your squash. And if you like relishes and sides on your meals, then that's a good thing to have. We actually love relish. We love chow chow. I usually make chow chow whenever we need it. Whenever I make chow chow, I usually make a huge batch of it, and it lasts several years. And to me and Donald, it gets better as it gets older because all of those flavors meld together and make it a wonderful relish. And it keeps well because, you know, it has a lot of vinegar and such in it. But it's really good. And I don't think it's a chow chow this year. I'll have to go down and look through the big pantry downstairs where we store our canned goods and see if we have enough chow chow without me making any. Of course, you can make it any time now. You don't have to wait to the end of the year like we used to growing up. You can actually make your chow chow anytime because most of the ingredients for that are readily available. But of course, it's always best if you can use it out of garden fresh vegetables. It's always better. But we did. I was able to make some of the squash relish, which has been one of our favorites. It's been something that we really like on the side. You know, when we eat our traditional Appalachian meals, you know, when we eat our beans and our potatoes and our fried squash and fried green tomatoes and, you know, all of the good gravy and biscuits and cornbread and chicken and dumplings, and we just take a little bit of that relish and we put it on the side of our plate. It's just been something that that we love. Me and Donald love that, and we love pickles. Even if they're sour and strong, we still love them. We enjoy pickles. But the relish, I think I make more than I do pickles. Didn't have enough cucumbers to make any kind of pickle this year, and that's okay. We still got quite a few pickles downstairs, you know, that we can eat up this year. We are trying to eat down our pantry, and so we can just make sure everything stays fresh and current. Even though we do like some things that are older because the flavors meld together so good, we still like to keep a rotating fresh canned pantry down there. We don't want to be eating food that's too old or has lost too much nutrition. So we're always on task trying to keep that updated and keep that. We can and keep food, not because we fear that we won't have food. It's because we are thankful for it and we value it and we love the home canned food. The taste, the exceptional fresh quality that you get when you pick your own garden, we just love it. We enjoy it. And there are things that are delicious. Some of our favorites would be canned tomatoes. Make great soups, we make a macaroni and tomato dish with just macaroni noodles, tomatoes, and butter, salt and pepper. That's a traditional Appalachian dish that I grew up on, my family grew up on. Mama made that for us, and her family made that. I remember when I was posting that video on how to make a traditional Appalachian dish that was one of our favorites. I have a video on that if you're interested in that. If you look on my channel, it's very, very obvious to find that. But Donald and I, we like it as just a simple dish, nothing complicated. It's something you can just make when you're in a hurry or when you've had a day and you hadn't had time to cook a lot. You can throw that dish together, and if you've got a leftover cornbread to go with it, it's really good. We really enjoy that. So those tomatoes go in a lot of varieties. I rarely can tomato sauce or soup or anything like that. I usually just can the tomatoes, and that way I have the tomatoes whenever I want to use it for whatever I want to use it for. It is a more versatile form. By leaving a whole canned tomato, I can do many different things with it, rather than breaking it down into sauce, soup, or even salsa. We used to can a lot of salsa, and I've got friends that love my salsa, and I might still can some salsa just to have it on hand. But it's really easy to throw together a salsa. That's not a complicated thing to do. So if you've got all your ingredients, we usually have onions and peppers and things frozen, and we can throw together a salsa. So I've not been breaking down and making things as much as I used to, and I just will make like the canned tomatoes and other ingredients and just pull them and make whatever I'm making at the time. That's what it's kind of got down to. But we love canned tomatoes, love canned peaches. I have been freezing my peaches just because they stay more firm, and to me they taste a little better than the canned peaches. So I haven't been canning as many peaches as I used to. I do love peach peeling jelly. Oh yes, but I just make a limited amount of that. We love canned green beans. All that's in our canned green beans is green beans, salt, and water. That's it. And they're delicious. So if you like green beans, canned green beans are good. So those probably are our favorites. I love to can carrots and potatoes, but those are low acid and they take a long time to can. I haven't done any of that in a while because I've been pulled in different directions. But that is something I kind of love to do in the winter time, because you've got your stove heated up for 90 minutes, around 90 minutes per batch, and it really heats up the house. So I like doing those things in the fall when it's cool, or in the summer. Look at the trees blowing. I don't know if you can see that back there, but the wind's blowing the trees. It's a really nice breeze out here this morning. I'm sitting under the elderberry bushes out here, and it's just a pleasant, very private time out here in our backyard, which I do not always get. There are houses all the way around us, so the back houses sometimes have a lot going on, and of course we hear it. And then when I sit in the front, there's the road, and there's a lot of things that go with that. But it's beautiful today. Here comes the breeze. You'll see a few leaves falling. It's just a beautiful, beautiful fall morning. I'm really enjoying it. And I thank you for joining me today. You know, I love to bring you along, let you see. I wanted you to see how the garden, vegetable garden, what state it was in. It's in a state of, it's time to just put it to rest and think about next year. Go ahead and get this ready for the winter, to overwinter. We will probably put some more compost, maybe some leaves down on it this fall after we get everything pulled up and cut down. Get it ready for the fall and the winter seasons. And then, of course, hopefully there's hope in the spring of planting the next garden. But, you know, I'm not sad about letting go this year's garden. I really am not. It wasn't as productive. It was an extreme amount of work for a little bit of produce. And there's years like this when we'll just supplement, you know, buying from farms or orchards or whatever is around us. We'll just buy directly from those and make up the difference in what we need for our food supply schedule that we have. And that's just the way it is some years. I'm looking forward actually to going to the mountains and seeing what kind of pumpkins they've grown and what kind of produce they have there this year. Hopefully I can take you along with me. Thank you for joining me today and let me share the garden with you. Until next time.